Hello, I'm Ken Canion. I am your host of Love, Lust, and Lies. And on today's show, we're going to talk about what healthy relationships actually look like. What do healthy people do? And when you're in a relationship, does it mean we disagree? We don't disagree? No, it doesn't mean we don't disagree. It just means that we agree to disagree. I know I say that, but y'all, this is real. We're going to talk about it today. So in today's session, which I'm not going to stay, I'm like they say in church, I'm not going to be before you very long, but I am going to I'm going to give it to you real. Hey, Paulette, how are you? I'm going to give it to you real today. So we're going to talk about what healthy relationships look like. Now, let's start by saying this. Number one, healthy relationships. Here's what we do, and here's what we should not do. People are in what I call a mode of perpetual frustration. Now, why is that? It happens in the modern day church. I go to church, y'all, and what we're doing, a lot of people, I hear people saying, well, pastor, their marriage looks like this. This is what pastor does. He should do that. If he doesn't have money, my pastor says that we shouldn't be going out. Now, let me say this to y'all. First of all, when you compare your relationship to an outside relationship, you're going to always live in a mode or a state of perpetual frustration. And let me explain to you the problem with this. The problem is, it's like comparing two fruits. An apple is a fruit, an orange is a fruit. However, they're very different fruits. They thrive very different ways. And what you're trying to do is compare your marriage, your relationship to somebody outside of your relationship. And this is where you end up going wrong. So what happens is, the first thing that I'm going to tell you is a thriving relationship works best based on the two people in the relationship. So me and my wife, we don't have gender roles. Now, there are some things that I like to do, some things that she likes to do, and some things she doesn't like to do. But we don't consider ourselves gender roles. Let me give you an example. Whenever we have to put up stuff at our house, like this bookshelf you see behind me, you know, a lot of men, they'll tinker and they'll try to figure it out. The truth is, I don't. I give it to my wife and she figure it out. You know, I'm like, what do you want me to do? You want to move me to move it up? You get the instructions, you read it, I figure it out. Because she's best at it. She's best at it. And so based on our relationship, she handles anything that needs to be assembled. I don't care what it is. She handles it. Now, I'll move what she wants me to move. I'll pick up what she wants me to pick up. But the truth is, I'm not trying to do that. I'm not good at it. I don't cut grass. She don't cut grass either. I hired somebody to cut grass. But what I'm saying is, people expect their relationship to be like someone else's relationship. Okay? I love my bishop, my spiritual father to death. He's gone on to be with the Lord. Some of the things that he said, though, I agree with. Most of it I agree with. But there's some things that he said that I don't agree with. Okay? I do not agree with. Now, in my household, I don't operate like that. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is you base your relationship on the two people in the relationship. So now, should you get coaching? Should you get counseling? Should you get? Absolutely. But you should not base your relationship on the relationship of someone else. Like I said, you will be in a perpetual state of frustration. The second thing is you're going to make your partner feel some kind of way, jump in their feelings when you say, I'm comparing us to somebody else. I'm comparing you to somebody else. Hey, such and such wife be giving it to him every single day, but you ain't doing it with me but once every 2 weeks. That's not the way to get a healthy relationship. So the first thing you got to understand is not comparing yourself to other couples. So, hey, Kendra, I sent you an email. We got to do a show together for your audience. We're going to talk about thriving relationships. Today, I'm showing people what a relationship looks like that thrives and what it doesn't look like. People will tell you what a relationship looks like, but they don't tell you what it doesn't look like. Today, I want to get into what it looks like and what it doesn't look like. All right. So let's get to the signs of a healthy relationship. And I wrote these out because I wanted people to think about their relationship in terms of, here are the things that are going on. Here are the signs. Am I in a healthy relationship? And if I'm not in a relationship, when I do get in a relationship, how will I know if it is healthy or if it is toxic? Because anything that is toxic toxic poisons you in some way. It poisons you in some way. If you remain in a toxic relationship long enough, it's going to poison you. I don't care what happens. And what happens is you get poisoned some way. You might get poisoned in the way that you communicate. You might get poisoned in the way that you act sexually, your intimacy. A toxic relationship poisons you in some way. So this is what now you got to understand, it could be a slow death, y'all. And so now, after you finally get out of it, if you live through it, now you're wanting to go in another relationship, but you don't understand why there is irreparable damage because you've been poisoned. All right? So let's get into it. Signs of a healthy relationship. Number one, the relationship is healthy when the other person or when you are allowed to be authentic in the relationship. You don't have to masquerade. You don't have to wear a mask, and the person will accept you for who you are. Listen to me carefully. If you're in a relationship and you have to fundamentally change who you are to be in that relationship, then there's something wrong with the relationship. But most of us are wearing a mask. It's like now we got COVID going on, y'all. When I wear the mask, when I go out, so y'all, I'm wearing a mask when I go in Walmart. I don't care what you do, but I'm wearing a mask. I told that to my wife. I told that to my kids because the truth is I don't want to subject myself to anything that's out there. Not that I believe what I believe or not. I know 100,000 people dead. That's all I know. And the problem though is when I wear the mask is uncomfortable. But after a while, y'all, I get accustomed to the mask. And see, that's what people are doing in the relationship. The mask begins to fit to my face. And then I get unconscious that I have on the mask because I begin talking in it so long. I begin smelling my own breath. I know now I've got accustomed to the mask. That's what people do in relationships. People do in relationships, they get used to wearing the mask so long. So really, you are sexually free. Okay, you want to explore. You want to do everything but you don't want to do it around him because what happens is you think he might think differently of you. And so what you do is you hold back. You don't give him all that thing that you want to give him. You don't want to explore sexually because you're afraid that if I share with who I truly am, my sexual being, then this person might not accept me. And then you withhold it. You put it, you subside it, but it's going to come out some kind of way. It's going to come out some kind of way. Eventually, it might come out because you're not sexually satisfied. It might come out when you're looking at porn every day because your mate isn't satisfying you. And ultimately, it may come out when you cheat with somebody else. Somebody else that's a freak, that's going to bring out all of that's in you. And so, y'all, what I'm telling people is show your authentic self. And a lot of people don't know who they are because they've been hiding it so long. You don't know who you are. You've been hiding it so long because you're so afraid that the person may not accept you. So what I say is, how do you know your relationship is thriving? When the person who you're with accepts you, who you are, your authentic self, the good, the bad, the ugly. My wife accepts me, the good, the bad, the ugly. And if you're because we do it so many times in the church. We masquerade because we want other people to think that our relationship is a way that it's not. And the truth is you live in silent misery. Silent misery because you're unwilling to be authentic in yourself. You know, and so I refuse. I refuse. Even when I do this show, Love, Lust, and Lies, okay, from time to time I cuss. Okay, I have people who love the Lord. I love the Lord on it. So what, y'all cussing behind the scenes? And then you want to act like that nobody knows I cuss. But shit, I cuss. Okay. But that's authentically me. Now you know what you're getting. If I say this is who I am, now you can decide whether I want to follow his show or not. But at least you know this is me. And I'm free to be me. So many of us are caught up in bondage. And I like that, Angela, hiding in plain sight. Number two, how do you know your relationship is healthy? Number two, all right, people in thriving relationships support the habits, interests, and passions of the people they're in a relationship with. Now, get what I said. They support them. They support the passions. They support the interests. But I didn't say they participated in the interests, the habits, or passions of the other person. See, there's a different thing between what we get confused at. We get confused at interest and we get confused at participation. So when you're with a person, and see, the reason I'll tell this story, y'all, my wife watching this broadcast, and I got to tell this story. At the time when I was dating my wife and this other lady. And this time, I had stopped all the stupid stuff while I was out there hitting, splitting, trying to get whatever I was trying to get. I had decided that my purpose was more important than pussy. The truth is, that's what I decided. And I was dating two ladies, and I was trying to decide who was I going to be with long term, who could be my wife. And I decided that my current wife, I was going to date her exclusively. And I told the other young lady, I said, I'm done. I'm going to date Karen. I'm going to date Karen. And she said, what's wrong with me? Why did you choose her over me? And I said, it wasn't that I chose her over you. It was that she was right for me. And then I thought deeper. And I knew the reason why. The reason why is that my current wife, she got integrated into my passions. Listen to what I'm saying. She became integrated into my passion. See, here's the thing, y'all. A man's passion is his heart. I don't know what that thing is, okay? When she became interested in it, she integrated into my heart, okay? And so what happened was all of the stuff I was interested in, she was interested in. It wasn't that she was involved in it. I remember one time, I told her, even when I worked temporary agency, when I worked for a temporary agency, I was still a businessman. I was always wanting to be a businessman. I said, I'm an entrepreneur, even though I'm working somewhere else. And what she would do is, here's how she got involved in it. She would always ask me, what are you going to do? How you do it? Because I told her I had this idea to put cigarette lighters in clubs, y'all. Back then, that's when everybody was smoking cigarettes. Now, and the thing about it was, she told me today, she said it was the dumbest idea ever. But here's what she did. She always asked me questions about it. And even though the idea was dumb to her, what she did, she understood one thing. If I ask him questions long enough, I'll bring him to the threshold of his own understanding. And he would realize that it's not such a great idea. She's about to stop saying your current wife like you had another one. Okay, baby, it's you, but I'm telling the story. And so she just told me recently, a few years ago, it was a dumb idea. I'm thinking, oh. But she helped me to realize my passions. She was integrated into my heart. And all of the things that meant something to me, the interest. She hates football. She hates sports. But what she does is she allows me to be interested in it. She'll ask me even questions about it. And so what I would tell her is, I'm like, look, if it weren't for sports, you wouldn't even know me. Doesn't make her love sports anymore. But what she was is she's integrated into the things that I'm passionate about and interested in and my habits. Support does not mean participation. That's where we get it twisted, y'all. All a man wants you to do is ask him about his dreams, inquire about his dreams, inquire about his passions. And the last thing I'll tell you about this, never dismiss his passions. Never dismiss his passions, never dismiss his dreams. Because if you do that, you will dismiss him. I'm going to tell you the story. I'm going to tell y'all this one story. So my ex-girlfriend, I had another girlfriend before my wife. And, I was always a dreamer. And I'll never forget it. This was right after college, or right near the end of college. I told her I wanted to start my own business. And I'll never forget what she said. She said, you are just like my uncle. He always starts something, it don't ever work. I never forget that. When she said that, I didn't even know my current wife. But I disconnected from her in a way that I could never reconnect, because she poo-pooed my dream. She pissed on my dreams. And because a man like me was a dreamer, and a lot of men want to dream, y'all, they just need a woman to help them dream. My wife has said I couldn't do what I do. I've been successful, y'all. I've been on CNN. I've done a whole bunch of shit. I could not do it without a wife who supported my dreams. And some of y'all say stuff like this. Well, I ain't going to build no man up so he can be with some other woman. So then what you going to do? What are you going to do? You ain't going to build him up. You ain't going to never be with him then. Life is about risk. Life is about taking a chance. Life is about, the truth is, y'all, being vulnerable. All of us are vulnerable to pain. And so why not? Why not if it's worth it? You know what? Number 3, in thriving relationships, partners support each other's opportunity for growth. Partners support each other's opportunity for growth. Here's the thing. I will say this to you. If you're with somebody and they don't want you to grow, then your relationship or that person is rooted in insecurity. Because what they're thinking on a subconscious level is, you might outgrow me and you might not want me. And so what I'm going to tell you is this right here. If that is the case, then that person needs to be healed. There's something in them that needs to be dealt with. There's something in them that they need to heal, because if a person, when you're in a relationship, if the person you're in a relationship with does not support your opportunity to grow, then that person is rooted in insecurity. Because listen, y'all, every time my wife told me she wanted to do something, when my wife got into comedy, she said, I want to be a comedian. I remember I told her, I said, you funny? I didn't even know you was funny. Because she never indicated to me she was funny. The truth is, it was lying dormant in her. She was funny as hell. I didn't know when she was in high school, she made all her friends laugh. They told me these stories. I'm like, for real? So this is what I said. But once she put the seed out there, once she put it in the air, you know what I said? You're responsible for what you put in the air. And as soon as you put it in the air, as soon as you put that in the air, you're responsible for it. So you know what I said? I said, I am going to nurture your dream. I'm going to push your dream. If you want to grow, I'm going to stand behind you and push you till you fall. And she got mad at me a lot of days. I'm like, so when you going to perform? So when you going to go to Atlanta? When you going to go to Atlanta and perform at Uptown Comedy Club, y'all? Uptown Comedy Club is like the Apollo. Y'all, when I tell you, none but dope boys in there with jerseys on, I never forget it. And she said she went down there and she said, I kept pushing her and pushing her and pushing her. And I know she said some 4-letter words prior to going. And then one day she said, you know what? I'm going tomorrow. Her friend Kim pushed her and said, I'm going to drive you down there. You going to get on. And then my wife got down there and she said, I don't want to get on stage. And Kim said, your ass going to get on stage because I done brought you here this far. And so she got on stage. The rest is history. She's been performing in audiences all across the world. Y'all, because I'm not saying it's because of me. I'm simply saying I was there to support her opportunity for growth. And a healthy relationship looks like the people in it are supporting each other's opportunity for growth. Now, I'm not saying, and it might look stupid to you. Some opportunities of growth don't look like opportunities of growth. They may look stupid, but the truth is, you can't say that. You don't know. Who are you to say it? All you know is, what I want to do is I am going to perpetuate an environment where you can grow, where you should grow. Even in COVID, y'all, even in COVID, there's an opportunity for growth. And look, we've written 2 books during COVID. 2! Y'all, because I'm stuck in the house. Time is the one thing I cannot get back. If time is the one thing I can't get back, I am not going to sit here and not use this time that God gave me. We all have just a finite amount of time. We don't know how much that time is. We don't know, y'all. And because we don't know, when I'm gone, when I'm dead, everybody that knows me will say, he did all he could do in this life. He's done everything. He's tried everything. He's done everything he can do. Everything, some worked, some didn't. But at the end of the day, I explore. I will never sit in that rocking chair and say the words that I hate. The worst words in the vocabulary. 2, what if? If you ever use the words what if, that means you live in a state of regret. I will not use those two words because I will not live in a state of regret. And so in relationships, if you don't help your partner to grow, then there's something inside of you that needs to be healed. Number 4, thriving couple. Couples thriving in relationships share emotions. Now this is deep right here. Let me tell you something. If there's a part of you not sharing emotions in your relationship, what that means is that's a part of you who, number 1, either you don't trust your partner or you have some hidden trauma. that you need to deal with. Because if I'm married to a person, or if I'm in a relationship and we've been in a relationship for a while and I cannot share my heart, my emotions, that means that if I can't share my emotions, I can't share intimacy. Intimacy does not come from sex. Intimacy comes from communication. People get that twisted. Intimacy does not come from sex. Intimacy comes from communication. Communication leads to sex. Okay? So it's a triangle, y'all. It's a triangle. What happens is women, the truth is, women give intimacy or give sex to get intimacy. They give sex to get intimacy because they want to be intimate with their man. Men, we want sex. So what we do is we'll give intimacy to get sex. Both parties get their needs met. But the truth of the matter is, intimacy is not sex. Okay? It is not sex. Sex is not intimacy. Okay? Sex is intimacy is communication, sharing our thoughts, our dreams, our feelings. And if there's a person in the relationship who cannot share their thoughts, their feelings, there's something going on. That means they can't be truly intimate. And if they can't be truly intimate, either they don't trust you or there's some trauma in their life and there's pain associated with talking about it. And y'all, and if that's the case, we need to deal with that too. All right, number 5, partners. And this is powerful when I wrote this. I said, partners, people in relationships, thriving relationships, frequently engage in non-sexual touching. Now, you might say, thriving relationships engage in non-sexual touching. Let me tell you something. Do you know the human touch is powerful? They did a study on babies, and some babies without human touch. They say that some babies, even if you feed them without human touch, and I forgot the exact study because y'all know I study all kind of stuff, that some babies actually died without human touch. Do you know human touch is so powerful? That's why now when the baby is born, if they can, they put the baby in the mother's arms right away. Now there's a reason behind, there's science behind this. They put the baby in the mother's arms so that hormones can be released. There's a hormone called oxytocin. It's called the bonding chemical. That's why when the mother feels the baby knows it too. And what happens is those chemicals are released. And that bonding chemical that's released causes the mother to cling to the baby and to want to take care of the baby. God done figured this thing out, y'all. He figured this thing out. And so what happens is, do you know that same hormone is released when you touch your partner? I'm not talking about you touching them on, sexually. I'm talking about you touch them on the shoulder. You kiss them, like I'll grab my wife's face and I'll kiss on the head. I do that to my grandkids. When you do that, you ever notice how when somebody touches your hair or touches your head, you feel like soothed? What's happening is oxytocin is being released. That's why you say rub my feet. It feels good, yes, but what makes you want to do it is the oxytocin that's being released inside of you when they rub you. So what happens is, y'all, there are some men, I'm like, yo, bruh, do you slap your wife on the ass? I said, yes. I'm not talking about when you get ready to do it. I'm talking about when you slap on the ass just saying, baby, I love you. That releases oxytocin, okay? I said, kiss on the cheek. I said, grab her hand. Whatever that might be, rub her shoulder. And the same thing works bad too. You can be in the office place and you touch a woman on their shoulder and that ain't getting no attention, and you touch on her shoulder, all of a sudden it's released that way too. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful. I'm just saying. Last thing is simply this. In thriving relationships, both parties are willing to sacrifice. There is no relationship that's ever going to happen without you being willing to sacrifice for the other person. Sacrifice, I often say that in the word it says sacrifice is better than obedience. The truth is sacrifice is about love. Sacrifice, when you're willing to sacrifice for another person, what it says is that I'm showing you that I love you. Jesus sacrificed his life for us. Sacrifice, y'all. The truth of the matter is, if you're in a relationship and the person that you're in with not willing to sacrifice for you, I would question whether that relationship is strong or not. Because selflessness is the trait of thriving relationships. Selflessness. You got to ask yourself, In your prior relationships, have you been selfless or have you been selfish? All right? Because the truth of the matter is the law of reciprocity comes into effect. That which I give you, and you believe I've given it to you in earnest, you believe I've given it to you and it was genuine, then that is what you want to return to me. Y'all, that's it. Six ways to know that you've been in a thriving relationship. If you're not sure, reach out to me. I'm Ken Canion. I'm the host of Love, Lust, and Lies. I'm out.